Hi, everyone. This is John Marcos, and welcome to MatuChat episode 2. In this week's episode, I had a conversation with some tourist friends of mine from Texas. They were exploring Puerto Rico for the first time, and I was acting as their tour guide. So I hope that you enjoy our discussion and take something valuable from it. I wanted to try something new in having them in person, but I realized that relying on only my mic for 4 people can be tough. Nonetheless, we had fun, and I continue to learn more about how to best project my conversations with everyday people. Anyways, thank you for all the support in my pilot episode and for tuning in on Spotify and YouTube to listen to MatuChat. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel at John Marcos and follow my IG at MatuteXOfficial. And as Seneca said, it is not that life is too short, but rather that we are so wasteful of it. Please enjoy today's show. Hello, this is John Marcos. Today is the day for episode 2 of MatuChat. This is your host, John Marcos, or Matute. And today I am joined by the tourists. And I will allow the tourists to introduce themselves, tell a little bit about why they're in Puerto Rico, and yeah, hi.
Okay, hi. So I'll go first. My name is Dominique. I actually am in PR because you guys call it PR, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, PR, yeah.
Can I abbreviate that?
Yeah.
So we're here for a kind of a little like summer vacation, graduation vacation. But yeah, that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm. Next person.
Hi, my name is Lilian, and we came to Puerto Rico because one of our friends was looking for where should we go for our summer vacation, and she requested Puerto Rico, and that's how we got here.
Yes, and the third.
Hi, my name is Chow, and like the other two said, we came because of our friend, and we also just wanted to explore a different culture.
Yes, sadly, this friend we haven't come. She can't be able to join us concerning some family issues and stuff like that. But regardless of that, this whole week I've been taking these girls to travel to different places of Puerto Rico to try different foods, to try the beach precisely.
Yes.
These girls, well, they come from Texas, and the Yeehaw state doesn't have good. Doesn't have good.
Cowboy boots and horses.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't have like good beaches. Dom, you mentioned me about how would you describe the beaches in Texas and why?
Yeah, they're terrible. I think we have Corpus Christi, which isn't too terrible, but the one that is closest to me, which I live in Houston. So yeah, the one that's closest to me is about an hour away, and that's going to be Galveston. And Galveston is sticky. It's gross. I don't think anyone gets in the water actually. People just go just to tan or lay out on the beach, but it's not really a pleasurable experience. Not one that you would kind of like actually go to enjoy the waves and enjoy being inside of the water. If that makes sense.
And also because of the whole situation with the oil spill that happened a few years ago.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely still having like there's a huge impact. I mean, you get in the water and you immediately feel like the heaviness and like the waves. It's sticky. Everything's sticky. You get out and you feel terrible.
Yeah.
And it's not kind of like the nice like salt in your hair. It's like a nasty like film over your skin. So
Yeah.
it's not enjoyable at all.
Yeah. How about you? After coming to Puerto Rico and finally experimenting with salt water, that was the whole issue with the saltiness of the ocean water. But it does. You get used to it, and I feel that after you get the shower and you're like in the fresh air. How do you guys? Today we went to the beach, but after, how do you feel afterwards? Even with all the salt water, and stuff like that, like going back to where we are now, like the apartment, how do you feel after that?
Good. I mean, we don't really get to experience beaches in Texas because we don't have any. So like, I would definitely go back. Even after tasting all the saltiness in my mouth, I will still go back. It's an experience to remember.
Yeah. And like the temperature and like just the atmosphere, like it's so beautiful in Puerto Rico. Like the beaches are like the water's so blue and you see so many like greenery, and it's an amazing place to like visit. It's very different environment from Texas beaches, like a lot. We do not have greenery that much. It's very dull looking. So yeah.
Yeah, and I guess when we go to those beaches and experiment with those areas, I really admit that a lot of times when I go to the beach, it's like we take it for granted, you know? We take it for granted that, oh, okay, I live in Puerto Rico, so like I can experiment all of this, I can eat all the food, lots of carbs and meat.
Oh, yeah. No, but I think that's anywhere. Like if I go to Texas, we have things that you guys might not have. Like we have Big Bend, we have, I don't know, what do we have? Rivers? I guess you guys have rivers. I'm not sure. But there's different places that have special things, and people, of course, take advantage of that. But I mean,
has there been like when people visit Texas, has there been like something that someone's very excited about, and you're like, yeah, whatever?
The barbecue. I think my family from Mexico is always like, let's go to. There's this one really famous place called Rudy's, I think, in Black's Barbecue, and they're all like, let's go. That place is amazing. And at this point, like I don't eat much meat, but still, like. I mean, I do admit it's a really good place to eat, but I don't really, it's like, to me, it's there when I want it, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, with the thing is that with Junke and stuff like that, and I guess we need to learn to be more appreciative of what we have in our environment. Because right now for me, leaving Puerto Rico soon.
Yeah.
And
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be talking Spanish anymore. Like last episode was Spanglish, where we tried to do this mix of Spanish and English, but now I need to get used to talking with this language and more confidently. So me going out there, you guys live in the US all the time, but what do you tell me to like, if you had to leave Texas or stuff like that, how would you guys feel about it? Like normal? Would you guys just vibe with it?
No, I mean, for me personally, leaving anywhere, like even moving from San Marcos to Austin, that's a huge jump. Any city, any place different from where I am now is going to be different. Even if I were to move out of Texas, I'd feel absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people that live in Texas, like we love the environment. I feel like we have a lot of things over there. Of course, not beaches, but but yeah, we have a lot, and it's kind of cultish actually, like because people like say like I love Texas, like I'm never moving out, like we're Texans, so it's crazy. Not we're American, we're Texans.
Yeah.
They show their pride a lot.
Our culture is very proud. Yeah, definitely. I would say that. I would agree.
How have from coming from Texas, and now you haven't lived a lot in Puerto Rico, a few days, but what was your impression of Puerto Rico beforehand that coming here kind of like changed, like, oh wow, like I did not know this before, or thank God I experimented this, so I'm like, yeah, I'm over it?
Well, for me personally, I think it really hit hard, and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm gonna say, but I came here thinking since it's an island, it's gonna be tropical, they're gonna have crazy cool fruits, they're gonna have a ton of veggies. And I go to Walmart and there's not a very like great selection. And I walk the beaches and there aren't people screaming and selling coconuts or like fruit, or like I just thought there was gonna be a ton of like
the diet.
Yeah, I think the diet really surprised me in the sense that it's a lot of meat and not as many fruits and veggies.
Ouch.
No, but I mean.
No, that's a great critique, because now that we think about it, it's very true. Like there isn't a lot of places. Like there's this place that I went recently that is called Ponte Fresco. Shout out to Ponte Fresco. They're really good. They're really good, but they tend to be a lot more pricey
Okay.
than regular
Yeah.
Burger King or whatever.
Oh, no, definitely, yeah.
Although there's one place in Rio Piedras close to my college that's called like Arope, and they sell like quality food, and it's like made there, and
Mhm.
and supporting the local. That's always good. But the disparity with heart disease and everything that
Yeah.
we're going through, maybe that's due to that, because we're just not having so much colorful foods in our
Yeah. I
diet.
think that could be a huge part in it. No, definitely. I've gone to restaurants, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of vegetables either.
Yeah.
And the
Here?
menus?
Oh yeah, and the
When we used to
menus.
go to eat at restaurants, you would read it could be mondongo or rice.
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, where's like the vegetables?
Where's the carrot? Where's the
Yes.
broccoli?
Yes.
Where's my
No
stuff?
vegetables at all. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess adding on to them, I'm also shocked that there's so many fast food restaurants here. I had the impression, just like Dom and William, that like it was gonna be fresh produce, there's everywhere.
Psych.
And there, yeah, so
Psych.
when I came there, I was like, McDonald's, Wendy, Burger King. It was like kept repeating itself, and I was like, wow, they have a lot of fast food in this island, which I was like, what?
A lot of people give awareness to that, how there are different companies coming from the state that come here to the island, and they sell these cheap ass food, but
Yeah.
at long term we don't realize that that's actually killing us,
It's
and
terrible.
it's not helping our health system, like to maintain a lot of people that even fine, you're feeling good right now, but a few years afterwards,
It's
yeah.
Yeah.
It's problematic.
And also like I had the impression that there would be fruits like random side of the street that I could like just go
Oh,
and
bro, random mangoes. Is it?
See, that's what I thought. But then when I came, I was like, where's all the fruit? And like I kept trying to find some, and it's like there's nothing. Like yeah.
Yeah. It's an issue, and lots of people are trying to create their own companies or start their own initiative to try to grow it here.
Yeah.
But sometimes the competition, like they don't win, and like everything's just
Yeah.
shipped out. It's like you mentioned, like
Yeah.
maybe because everything's so shipped out, and also I've realized that the foods that taste really good are the ones that obviously get sold the most.
Yeah.
But when there's a place that has like a lot of bananas, like some people don't buy them. Like they don't buy them. Like they just, and so many of these companies, they decided to lay back on selling lots of fruits and veggies because they eventually go bad compared
Oh, okay.
to sugar or something that can be
Yeah.
stored
Yeah.
and cook it out like that. So maybe that's a reason.
So
So
maybe it's also within the people that maybe they aren't as familiar with some of the recipes that they can use to incorporate these fruits and veggies.
and you guys don't see that problem in the area of university? Like, do you see it often with the diet? Like, are students in the U.S. and Texas, or do they have issues with the menus in the universities, or is it pretty broad whereas everyone can have whatever they want?
I think it differs because also the universities really try to incorporate like healthy meals.
Mhm.
We have a variety of stuff on campus. If you want to eat healthy, you can eat, you have the option, but also you have the option to go get fast food and eat it every single day.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have options at least.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have options, definitely.
Yeah. I think that the university, of course, we have options because we're paying like thousands of dollars.
Ouch.
But like yeah. But I think that the food from like elementary school, middle schools, and high schools in Texas, they do not have diversity. Like
Ooh.
that's a big
Yeah.
problem. Vegetables are barely incorporated. It's in like a can and they just dump it, and it doesn't look appetizing to kids,
Mhm.
so they don't eat it. And they have like corkboard pizza, or so it's not very appetizing, and like a lot of kids like need that nutrition and they don't have that.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, high school food. At least in my school, it wasn't that bad. I'm just grateful it was free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they try at least to be, no, though I got a bad milk one time and it was a bad chocolate milk. And I was like,
It ruined it for you.
yeah, never again did I drink a baggie of chocolate milk because that just ruined me.
Yeah.
But what, man, diet is so important and how to fix this problem of having schools to provide nutritious foods. And it's also about the habit of eating these foods because maybe they just get the hit from fast foods and it's so tasty and whatever.
Yeah.
And what would you guys do to try to solve that problem? Like to make healthy foods more appealing? Is it in our control or is it more of the people who own those places like fast food?
I think it's more of a systemic issue. So if we, like, I think, okay, so I'm going to reference Michelle Obama. I remember.
Shout out to Michelle Obama.
Yeah. I remember in my high school, we used to have our vending machines filled with chips, my favorite kinds, Doritos, the purple Doritos, etc.
Yes, the purple
And
ones.
then I think the next semester, the next year, I came back and everything was healthy. It was like reduced fat, reduced sodium, pretzels, and everything tasted like cardboard, but it was fairly healthy. And I think that, I got used to it and I stopped eating from the vending machine, and the lunches looked a little more appealing. They had a little more vegetables. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but I did go to public school. So I think it's like start small and build from there and then inform the public. I think as long as, they know about the really bad effects, and maybe that'll motivate them to make a change.
Yeah. So if we want to live long, we got to start educating ourselves early on, but having the motivation to do so, because people just want the gratification as fast as possible. Like they want to see the abs right now.
Especially nowadays. Me.
What could be leading us to that? What could be leading us to just want to get that quick gratification because it's just so easier, or saving time, or
like getting healthy foods, or
no, like I guess immediate gratification in general, because I think that the fact that we have this problem of sweets or stuff like that is because it feels good in the moment. So maybe you're after a day of stress and whatever, you go home and boy, do I deserve that chocolate cake,
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that issue? Like
In terms of immediate gratification, or like pertaining to specifically to like eating junk food?
Yeah, like that relationship between immediate gratification and junk food, and how to incorporate the healthy style.
Okay, that's a really hard one because I even struggle with that.
Yeah.
But I think you need to maybe don't force yourself, or don't let yourself get to that point to where you are so stressed that you rely on that chocolate cake.
Ouch.
Or that, whatever it is. And it happens to all of us. I'm not saying it's, we're all human, but I think that as long as you try to maintain a balance, it won't get to that point where it's like, oh my God, I need this beer, I need this chocolate cake, whatever it is that, you need it to make you feel better. Maybe you can go for a walk or a run or yoga, whatever you like to do versus the chocolate cake. But, chocolate cake is good. Have it a little, whatever you want. But yeah, I think that's my opinion.
And something interesting that Chow mentioned was it was really briefly, but we looked at each other like in regards to the tuition.
Oh, yeah, tuition is expensive. Yeah, in America is so expensive, and like also you have to pay the housing and stuff. It's like
I don't know how you guys do it, because after I can't even imagine. You guys still have debt after you graduate now?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Does it get to the 100,000s?
No, not right now. Not
Oh yeah,
in
that's med
undergrad.
school.
Yeah, med school, I'll definitely be there. but
Amen.
yeah, I'm hoping to pay my student debt off within a year or two from working. So I'll be good. But I mean, it is student debt, so nothing about that is good.
And and that issue, Puerto Rico, that's another thing that we might take for granted as well. Like we receive good education in our university, and we still pay a little bit less than the United States. But I I question myself, like, why is it like that? Maybe it's because it's, even if it's public, you guys have public, right? It's your university public, or is it more?
Ours specifically is public, but there's both private and public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have private schools here as well?
We do, and they tend to be pricier.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and some students do take their loans to attend there, but they usually mediate them and they can get over it quickly. Yeah. So let's go to the topic of the fun things that you had in the island. And yeah, what was your favorite aspect of this whole thing? Tomorrow you guys are leaving and you'll probably miss, but at least you have some memories to take along. What was the highlight of the week?
The food.
The food.
Mhm.
Which one?
Mondongo.
The mofongo.
Oh,
Mofongo.
oh my god, I'm thinking about this place. I'm sorry. Mofongo. Yes, I love the mofongo. It was new,
Mm-hmm.
and I before coming, I did want to have mofongo, so I was happy.
Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was really good.
The one you had at Raíces was pretty good. Like
Yes. Oh,
the
my God.
mariscos and
That
stuff
was
like
really
that.
good.
Damn.
Was that the best one that you had? Because I know you had one at the other restaurant. That we went
I really couldn't taste it.
to. Really?
Yeah, I don't. I just love.
Yeah.
They were both good. They were
Yeah.
both good.
Yeah.
The food is good food.
Yeah.
What about pirillos as well? The pizzas?
Pretty.
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
Very good.
That was very
Delicious,
good,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely good.
I love the drink.
especially the sauce and the cheese of it. When you bite it, it's like, damn.
I was scared at first when you said it was big, and I was like, oh, until you said it's personal. I'm like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that can be personal.
What do you think of the river? Angelito.
That was
I think
pretty
that was
good.
my favorite part about the entire trip. I loved like being in the mountains, even though we weren't able to go in to the forest or the park.
Drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
reservations.
I think we still had an awesome time and it worked out perfectly. So that
Yeah.
was my favorite part, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Charles?
Mine would be also like the little. No, it's not a river. It's more like, what is it?
And then
It's a little
strawberry.
baby river.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, like a little river. That like I love the greenery, like the plants and stuff. I just love.
Yeah, you guys were like fanboying about all the palm trees and the greenery.
It's so
We don't
pretty.
have that.
Yeah. Also the beaches, of course,
Yeah.
it's amazing, so clear, like, and then the sand, it's very nice. Like you don't have to like, because I know like in Texas when we go to the river, we like struggle sometimes going down because like there's like so many rocks and pebbles and hills, and like this one is just like, I don't know, like the sand is soft and it feels good, and then you
We
just
don't
go in
even
the
have sand.
yeah, we don't even have sand. So yeah, we have
Yeah,
like
dust.
yeah, and rocks that yeah. So, yeah.
Where would you go next after Puerto Rico? What would you tell, let's say, someone from Texas came to Puerto Rico? What would you tell them?
Prepare yourself for a high protein diet, but the views are great and the people are great.
We have a local.
Yes, have a local Uber.
Yes.
Oh,
There's
God.
no Uber.
Yes.
There's no Uber, and if it is, then it's not in our area. So make sure you
Don't
have a
stay in
backup
Dorado.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, don't say in Dorado.
Mm.
Like, they're lucky because they had me, and I drove them around, and it was like that. And I had fun too because we finished the degree, people. Like, literally, this was a trip where everyone technically graduated,
Yeah.
almost, right?
Yeah.
Almost. But the point is that everyone here, they got their bachelor's degree. Did you guys, were you guys first generation, or were you, your
Yes.
parents also motivated you to
I mean,
follow the footsteps?
no, I'm definitely first generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel that? Because I'm also first generation. I'm the first one in my family to gain a bachelor's, and I don't know. Like when I see other kids struggling, because I see it here all the time. Like a lot of kids don't know English well.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not that motivated.
Yeah.
And how I always think about how can I be that symbol, that symbol of peace, no, but that symbol for them, for future generations, and being that first generation student, we have like I feel like we have like a duty to fulfill in that respect. And so when I become a professor, hopefully, fingers crossed, like that's my goal. That's what I want to instill in the next generations, that hey, life is crappy. You're gonna pass through some struggles, even if you're first generation. Put in the work and don't look for a good support group. You know, that's a good question. Like during your bachelor's degree, what motivated you to stay focused?
I think my parents, I mean, not them not motivating me, but like it's just where, since you said like we're first generation and stuff, like seeing how much they struggle just to get me here.
Ouch, yeah.
So like it motivates me every single day to like, you know, do better for them.
You guys?
Parents, like, you know, like they come from other countries to come here to give you a better life, because in their countries they can't do that. And then you're like, I have to do this for them, but not just for them, but for me. Because like when you tell your parents, oh, I want to make you guys proud, they tell you, no, do this for you. You're not doing this for anybody else. This is your future. You're going to start your own family, and we're always going to stay as your parents. Like, I am glad I have good parents. They never pressure me to choose, like, you have to be this and this and this. They were like, whatever you want. It's whatever you want. What makes you happy. And when I told them I was going to the science, oh my God, who wouldn't, right? What parent wouldn't be happy? Like, oh my God.
Oh my God, you go to science.
Yeah, she got my money.
Yeah, she's not an art student or anything.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong, because even if you are in science, what you need to do is learn to promote yourself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people be like, oh, I'm an MD, but they don't know how to, let's say they don't know how to treat people well. And so we have a bunch of these people focused on the money, but they're still crappy people towards and they don't help, because part of your health is being mentally well. And if you don't have a supportive kind of, even your physician, the role that your physician has in that, then like it's not going to work out.
Yeah, but I also think it's like in that case, there need to be programs specifically like MD programs that are well-rounded and have great clinical programs, have great education programs. So it's, you know, these doctors turn out to be well-rounded doctors and not just in it for the money, you know. I think
in the program, instilled into the program?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I would hope that, I mean, you don't go through medical school and then just do it for the money. That's tough.
Do you feel that's common though?
Yeah, I
Definitely.
think maybe some people may take advantage of the fact that, you know, they have certain opportunities that make them more appealing to medical schools, and so it's maybe easier for them versus other people where it's more difficult. I mean, like for me, example, I've had to work, I've had to do things which may have prevented me from doing other things and focusing on school. So maybe my GPA isn't a 4.0. Which is very appealing to medical school. So I think that, you know, just overall in general.
You know, but as long as you're being multifaceted, your GPA, because that shows that you are not limited to, it's also, I always compare interviews like dating. You gotta be interesting, you're gonna be well presented, because there's people that just, okay, these people are gonna accept me because I'm the shit. But like they don't do well at selling themselves. And wow, there's a lot of work to do, but bit by bit, hopefully we'll get to a stable place where people put in effort and it shows like professionalism. And it doesn't have to be this strict, like, oh, you can't have tattoos or stuff like that. It's just the way that you treat people.
Exactly. And in the end, that's what being a doctor is about. I would hope that you treat people with,
save lives.
It's always the people before yourself.
Yeah.
That's why we see that whenever there's a hurricane where we're from, like we have to evacuate, but nurses and doctors, they have to stay no matter what.
Especially we see it now in the COVID times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like lots of nurses have been affected because of the
They couldn't go back home.
And extended shifts.
Yeah.
Wow. And so now I ask you, now that you're graduating, now that we're focusing in the next steps, would you like to share what is driving you right now to the next step?
That's a good question. I think fear.
What do you mean fear?
I'm going to take the MCAT in September, so it's like at this point, it's like now or never. Like study your butt off.
I mean, you can always take it again.
Doesn't mind more money.
That's fear. Yeah, that's scary.
More money to pay. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to have to deal with that, but it's definitely fear. Yeah.
You're offending more than necessary.
Yeah.
You'll do great.
Thank you.
How about you? What fascinates you about dentistry?
What fascinates me?
Yeah.
I feel like I've always been very good with my hands, like technical skills. I like being hands-on with a lot of things. And so when I was younger, I would always go to the dental office with my parents because they didn't know English, so I would translate for them. And I felt like dentists had more of a, like, they were more aware that I was here and my parents, and they were very like helpful, and they were there for me. Like, if, because like there's a lot of technical things about dentistry. They're like, oh yeah, you have or periodontal disease and stuff, and you need to tell your parents. And I'm like 7 or 8, and I have to tell that to my parents. It's like, yeah, I translate like, yeah, your teeth's broken, and like they're like, what? Like, what are you saying? So like they were very patient with me. Like they helped me out. They like explained it, and like I felt that's one thing I really like about dentistry. They're like kind of not hands-on, but like more personal with the patients than how I experienced with medical doctors, because I noticed that when I used to volunteer at like a hospital or something, most of the times like the nurses would come in and be the ones that were the personal one, and then the doctors would come in and they were like, okay, like this is what you have, this, and they just leave. And most of the time, the person that is talking to the patient is the nurses. So that's one thing I really like about dentistry, is how personal like the doctor can be with the patient, and he sits down and explains everything and stuff. And he also does like, like, I don't know, I kind of like that relationship.
Pretty healthy to have those types of relationships, and especially when it's something so delicate as teeth.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to go past it and hit a nerve. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's like the fear forever for me, at least.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking because you're working with such a small surface, and like just one like mistake can like damage the whole teeth. And
goddamn. But you're in great. You're in a great path, because I saw you with the rocks of the river and trying to balance them all together, and that's very delicate. So your precision is getting there. So what about you?
Well, just like Chow, I will have to go with my mom to translate for her as a doctor. And she'd be like, what did he say? And I was in elementary school. I mean, I was in all Spanish classes with one English teacher.
Ouch.
So I had to learn Spanish and English. And my mom would be like, can you read this for me? What does she say? What is going on? And when I got into high school, I became a volunteer in my church, because not a lot of people in my church know English. So whenever they needed someone to translate, they would take me out of school and then take me with them to the doctor's appointments. And then the doctor would be like, are you related to them? You have to be kind of related. And I'm like, yeah, we church buddies. Yeah, and then they're like, okay, well, you have to tell them this and that. But I will mostly accompany women to the gynecologist. Yeah, because and where we're from, there's only men. Yeah, and so women feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
mean,
I can
get
imagine.
it. I get it. Yeah.
I mean, I would feel comfortable by, I
I'm
mean,
a woman.
yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember when my mom was like, "Oh, she's like, there's nothing we can do. That's all we have. That's the only option we have." And then that was like, no, that's not the only option we have. Like, I'll be one. I will make women feel comfortable. I mean, I'm very comfortable. Like, you can ask them. Like, I'll be walking around. They're like, Lily. I'm like, we all the same. We have the same stuff. And like, I just want them to feel comfortable. Like, now Chow's more comfortable with me. Like, she's like, well, William's one day gonna be seeing this. Let's start now.
Oh, I did not know this. None of the women knows that. Okay. It's okay.
No,
It's okay.
we're really close friends, guys.
I know her since 5th grade.
Yeah, it's okay. This is no worries.
It's professional people.
Yes, professional. Yeah. So I feel like I just want women to feel very comfortable. I mean, I get it. Like, I personally don't mind having either a woman or a man, but there's so many women that just would like.
Need more women
Yeah,
represented.
there's no. It's kind of sad that in our hometown there's no woman, and like I told myself I'm gonna open a clinic there. I want to go back to my hometown.
Wow, that's amazing. Like coming back to go fix what was not.
Yeah, and then my parents were like, "Well, what if you want to go somewhere else and make more money?" I'm like, "I'm not doing this for the money.
Right.
I want to go back to my
Mhm.
hometown and open a clinic."
Mm-hmm. I totally like relate to that because I see professors, like I see them and I'm very grateful for my professors. Like I learn a lot from them. But some of them it's like, well, maybe you could have done it this way, or maybe the different approaches, and you coming back to your place of origin to try to change that environment for the best. Wow, like that's
Like even Chow was like, "You sure you want to go back to our place? Because our place is not really the best." But like,
I need to ask myself that too. Like after I finish my studies in the doctoral degree, would I come back to Puerto Rico?
we're all
That's a great
started.
question. That's a great question. I don't know. I think a lot about variables depend, but I sure want to be involved in Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
like to make at least do an
It's a
impact.
part of you.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that what would happen if, in your case, like something happens and you're married and whatever, and you just need to move someplace else? Would you have a plan B to try to do an impact in that area anyway? Wait, like, I think there are ways to be involved anyway, right?
I'll try to get involved somehow. Because I mean, yes, once you get married, it's like your whole plan has to change. Because when you're single, yeah, you have this is you follow your plan. But once you get married, it's like a whole different. You have to start like, oh, do I want my kids to go to my commute where we're from? The schools are bad. The schools are bad. I would not want my children to go to our schools. So yeah, it's like you have to start thinking about children. You have to start thinking about your husband. Like if my husband doesn't want to go back to my home country.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't
Hometown.
say hometown.
We're
Then
good,
you
we're good.
do have to find a way that because I still want to be involved in a way.
Because the town that we live in is very low income. Like almost every student has like a free lunch and things like that. So it's like very like low poverty line, like mostly a lot of students are. So I mean, personally for me, I don't ever want to, I'll go back just for my family and stuff, but like I don't want to open up my clinic, but I know that like organization, like dental organization, they travel around and they can help and stuff, and I wouldn't mind like traveling there like once a month and like opening like a free clinic or whatever and doing like cleaning and things like that, because I've shadowed the dentist and he does that, and I think that's amazing. So I would definitely go back to my hometown and do that and like help out like my community, because I've been there before. I understand. Yeah. And like dentistry, like dental, like health isn't a priority for many people. It's health first, but like your teeth is everything. You need it, so
To eat.
but then you can
To
also
look good.
Yeah.
To look good, yeah.
Yeah, but it can also cause other health risks too, like for pregnant ladies, like, oral bacteria can also go into their
To the baby
into the fetus and then create neonatal like
diseases.
yeah. So it's
It's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough because it's conflicting. It's like at the same time you want to live in a better place, give a better life to your children, but at the same time you're grateful for the things that you've passed through in your hometown and you kind of want to give that back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I want to do that, and I have some initiatives in mind. Maybe start an app. Like I don't know. I have different ideas that I still haven't developed fully. That's why I'm journaling, because journaling like keeps me grounded at least. Yeah, it's just like writing your ideas down, and hopefully you'll do it and go back to them in the future. But yeah,
One step at a time.
what?
One step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time. That's very, very true. And hopefully you can be that beacon of hope for them as well. Like, hey, I was in this situation. Here's what I did, and here's something better that I can offer.
Yeah.
So if you were to die anytime soon,
Dang, okay.
no, you guys are okay. But if you were to die, but let's say you die, fine. Let's say you die after like 60 or after like beyond that. What would you want people to remember you by? Hopefully by the time that you reach 60, what would you have hoped to have accomplished? That's a tough question again.
Oh, I was not prepared for this. I mean, right now I'm not thinking big picture. I think right now I'm thinking about becoming a doctor and eventually working for WHO or Doctors Without Borders. I think that's my goal right now. But yeah, I think as long as I can achieve my goal, then whatever people think of me, then that's on that.
At least you give your best.
Exactly.
Okay.
At least I was the best person that I could be, and I did as much as I could to help out and be a good person.
Okay. You tell?
I would probably say like impacting someone's life. Like not life, but like just it can just be one person or many. I just want to help people. Like that's why I want to be a dentist. And if I can help them with just little things like fixing their chipped teeth and making them feel more confident, then I'll do it. Or just little things, or like helping out with communities that are less fortunate and who can't get not tooth insurance, but oral insurance or something like that. That's kind of like what I want my legacy to be. Just like people know that, oh, this person helped me and stuff like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you?
Because
Oh, yeah. But you're gonna continue. Yeah, like that's always I found that giving yourself a sort of a purpose, like making it so that your life revolves around this purpose helps you out in the long term, because you kind of have like that guide. I feel that a lot of people don't necessarily have that defined as to what is that, and maybe college helps out. Right? No, not that much.
And confuses me even more. I feel like I'm more confused now than when I even
Really?
in college.
How so?
I mean, I just think there's so much more that I'm knowledgeable now than I was before. Like I know about MD PhD programs now. I know about what research is. I know about different people, and I just know so much more than I did before, that there's so many more options. And that's like, well, that's tough to choose, but
Yeah, I'm right now doing research, and I learned about research in my third year.
Yeah.
Like, well, about chances in biology to do like, oh, I can go to this college and talk with a mentor and join their lab. Wow, I did not know I could do that. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel that schools need to better that aspect, because I feel that we're learning so much different skills, which is fine, but we're not actually narrowing down real options that are possibly, like ways of succeeding anyway. Like, let's say you wanted to be a carpenter. How are you going to be the best carpenter in town, or how are you going to make networking, or how are you going to find someone or some place that will mentor you or take guide of you?
Exactly.
And so lots of these kids, they graduate high school, but what happens afterwards? Like, if you don't have that direction or that guide to seek something else, so I don't know. It's interesting to try to solve it. So yeah, what do you have to say in respect to what do you want to be remembered as?
Good mom.
As a good mom
and a good wife, because the career thing we're going through is going to be hard to be at home and give attention to your husband and to your kids.
Mhm.
And I just want them to be like, oh, I remember my mom.
Wow.
Because it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's the career we're choosing. It's really hard. And I think that just being a good mom and a good wife is what I want to be remembered as. Like, oh, she passed away, and she was a good
She had
mom
like
and
good attributes that
Yeah, like,
dedication.
I remember my mom told me this and this and this, and she was a good mom even when she couldn't have all her time on me because she was saving she was not saving other people, but bringing other kids to this world,
Mhm.
and like helping other women feel more confident. And I just want my kids to know that, in the future, if you see this, I love you.
Maybe they will. Who knows? I don't know.
Remember your mom back in the day? Yeah.
Yeah, then family is so important. Like you guys mentioned that your parents helped you out to become who you are. And once we get to that position, we feel like this need to pass on the torch and hopefully light a brighter road for a brighter future. Because a lot of kids need it, especially. They need the motivation. They feel, well, I wouldn't say motivation. Maybe it's just drive. Because I feel that motivation also, I learned recently that
Yeah.
I feel that motivation is just very, it tends to be very momentary. It doesn't stick. And having that drive will allow you to hopefully get to some place.
Yeah, because if you see a lot of like kids that have parents that are not at home, they rebel against them because they want
Ouch.
their attention. And it's like, I don't want my kids to be like, my mom's never home. She doesn't care, And I'm like, no, just because I put other people before you doesn't mean I don't love you. So
Ouch.
that's why I want to be like a good mom and a good wife.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully stop this. I feel that kids with bad parents tend to repeat those same mistakes forward. And trying to, well, you deciding to have children, or even if you don't have children, you could be a parent or a parental figure to the people you're going to teach.
Yeah.
And hopefully that way you propagate and this cycle of either hurt people passing on the hurt to the next generation, which is really sad and critical. So yeah, any last thoughts or words about your experience after leaving, or you're gonna miss? The sun, man.
Oh, now I'm not gonna miss the sun. No,
The sun is strong, but it feels good.
Yes.
The beaches.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
the
miss
beaches. I'll miss the beaches for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Airbnb, man, they catfish us.
I know. 10-minute, 15-minute walk at least.
Sprinting.
Yeah.
And there's no sidewalk either.
Yeah,
So
I'll be risking my life on top of that. No, thank you.
wow.
That's not the kind of vacation I want.
They were like, oh, 2 minutes to the beach. Actually, it's by car.
Yeah.
Bike.
Yeah. And there's no Uber on this area at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any tourists listening to this conversation, remember,
So that was something.
if you're gonna stay in Dorado, make sure you have a car or something like that, because Uber's barely here. And well, people who are in San Juan, blessed, I guess, because you have a lot of Uber. But I think gasoline is more cheaper than Uber. So I would consider all of that. So anyway, with that, I would like to thank Las Turistas for coming here. And any last words to add to the conversation?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, then I'll have to add this later. Okay, thank you for joining MatuChat.